My name's Eli Delaney, and I have the honor of meeting some pretty cool people. These are the entrepreneurs, the artists, the creatives, the game changers that are making a positive impact in the people that they meet. And I'm a firm believer that the people that you meet can get you anywhere you want to go. And this show is my way of sharing them with you. It's my way of also helping you meet cool people.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Eli here, and today I am honored to have a cool guy that I got to meet through the Success Champions networking group. He and I don't even remember who introduced us originally, but we ended up giving several really cool conversations. And so I was like, yeah, we got to bring him in. So Dr. Kayvon K, he has got, I'm going to look at this because this is some stuff I didn't even know. He started as a medical doctor, became a web designer, went into internet marketing, and then became a business coach since 2006. We got some other conversations you and I are going to have, my friend, because I didn't even know all of that. So much opportunity is lost when prospects cannot understand and connect with the businesses and why they are a better choice because of generic or vague messaging. And this is what he does. He helps fix that messaging so the connection issue is resolved. Words that attract, connect, and convert. He is also known as the profit finder. So with that, Dr. K, it's good to have you, my friend.
Hello. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you very much.
So, I was so funny because you sent that over because we always have everybody send over kind of a little bio and everything.
Yes.
Because there is always stuff that I don't know. And I don't want to make sure I don't miss anything important, but there's like, okay, you went from medical doctor to web designer to internet marketing to business coach.
Yes.
And I'm like, so, I mean, if you replaced medical doctor, which is way more prestigious than my lowly roadie, to web designer, font stuff, we're kind of similar, other than, you got all the fancy degrees and everything. And I just, flung cables and lights for rock stars for a while.
Well, thanks for saying that, but at the same time, with or without the degrees, fancy or not, it's all matters that at the end of the day, did we make life better for other people? Did we make an impact?
Exactly.
Did we stay true to our, calling and our level of standards or not? So I like to look at them all like that. That what makes, a person, I see we're in the mood, meet cool people, makes a person cool or not.
I love it. Yes, very cool.
Yes.
So, I mean, I already kind of went through a bit of your bio here, but tell us a little bit about your story. How did you make this shift and to what you're doing today?
Okay. It's going to sound simple. And it is simple, but it wasn't easy, right? So here's the thing. There are two main forces in all of these shifts. One is moving away from pain, which was the main reason that I decided I don't want to be a medical doctor anymore. The empathy is very strong in me, and seeing people suffering and in pain and all of that, their pain was becoming my pain. I started to have, nightmares about that sort of thing, and I realized I'm not made for this. I'm better to serve, people around me in other capacities. So when that clarity was there, I realized this path is not going to the direction that I want. The opposite of that, which path is going to the direction that is exciting to me, is attractive to me. So one is moving away from pain, and number two is going where excitement and interest and attraction is. So after making a decision that I don't want to be a doctor anymore, this was back in 1997, 98. So internet and computers was a big deal back then. I remember my 56K modem was a fast internet connection. And I was already good with computers. Even during the medical school years, I had 7 people working for me. We were doing data entry work and that sort of thing. So I started to teach myself web design because I wanted to do that. And later it led into learning programming languages and databases and internet programming for business. So when you work with business people, you understand what's happening in their world and what's their fears and frustrations and dreams and hopes. And all of that is around growth. They want to have a better business, grow with the business, So I got introduced to other things like entrepreneurship and marketing and branding and that sort of thing. So the company morphed into the implementation of online marketing and running a business online. And the more I did that, the more I learned. People said, "Hey, we are really enjoying our strategic conversations with you." So I realized, hey, I'm enjoying that too. That's where I'm making the most impact. They are telling me they are getting the highest value. So I just kept the conversation, and I have been a business growth coach since 2006. There have been a bunch of iterations, a bunch of certifications in between, but at the end of the day, it's all around making things simpler, easier, remove the complications, and basically make progress happen every day. And I add consistency to all of that. So that's a bit of a story of how I got here.
I love it. And it's so funny because you and I've had several conversations, and
Yes.
we've never had that conversation of that story because,
Yes.
like I said at the beginning, it's very, very similar to mine.
Yes.
When
Yes.
I first started, I was a roadie. I worked in the rock and roll business,
Yes.
and I got out of that, started working for a small computer shop in Phoenix,
Yes.
and 56K had just come out. It was
Yes.
a brand new thing at that point. Like, we were one of the few ISPs that even had it. And I think out of our entire data bank of modems, I think we had like 6 or 7 56Ks versus like the 50 older ones we had, because they were so new. And so, yeah, it's a lot of fun to kind of see that evolution with somebody, especially when it's so parallel. And I love that you brought up getting away from the pain more, what is it that's not making you happy? There's so many people that I think that they hang on to it. And I've been guilty of that. Even with my web design agency, I hung on to it way longer than I should have before I literally let everybody go and burn the whole thing and start it over, because I just wasn't enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
What was it that got you to think, okay, it's time to make this shift? Like, what was that defining moment for you? Because I would love to hear a little bit more about that. Is what was it like? Okay, medical doctor to web designer. Like, that's a big shift. How did you get into that being the thing? Is okay.
It was the moment of clarity that I realized this medicine field is killing me.
Right.
I'm feeling miserable day after day. I'm going through depression and that sort of thing. And I realized, hey, well, this is not going to go away. I could see that ability of mine to hold that emotional wall between myself and my patients is coming down and becoming lower. So I could see that. Okay. So it's a matter of, do I stay with this for another 10 or 15 years of miserable, then I give it up, or do I do it just right now? Right. Cut the losses kind of a situation. So that was majorly motivated by moving away from pain. I had no idea where the next thing is, but I knew this is not it.
Okay.
So that clarity gave me the I guess courage, or I guess the only thing I could do,
right,
to stop that. I was lucky because my father, I was his surgical aide for about a year or so between graduation and getting my degree and moving to Vancouver, where I live now. And I was his surgical aide. He was an OBGYN, and we did many C-sections together. So that's what my friends make fun of me, that, hey, look at this guy, his side hustle is C-section. So that was easier because I didn't have to deal with pain and suffering. When I went to the surgical room, patient is already out, and we just dealt with the situation. So that buffer allowed me to just get myself together. Then we moved to Vancouver, and I thought, excellent, fresh start, new city, new country, new everything. Okay. And you look around, and computer internet is there and speaking to you, and I thought, hey, there is interest, and this thing doesn't matter how big of a mistake I make, nobody's gonna die.
Right. That definitely puts it into perspective for you.
Yes. So you mentioned happiness. It was not as much as that, as in where the interest is, and it also evolved over time that I learned a new dimension to that. First was what is exciting to me, what is interesting to me, what is exciting to me. And as I was learning about business, I realized that new dimension of what is most helpful to other people.
Right.
What is it that market is demanding? What is it that people are looking for? And that sort of thing. So that intersection of what is exciting to me and what is it that market finds helpful right now basically led all of my decisions after that.
I love it. That is so, so awesome. So describe a bit more about how is it that you help your clients nowadays?
Correct. Yes, thank you. So we are living at a time that it used to be information age, but it's not anymore, especially with the AI and ChatGPT and all of that. Some people say content is not king anymore because there is so much of what I call hollow and meaningless content generated by tools and AI, that the real meaningful ones are lost in between. So it used to be access to information that was important, having the answers that was important, the how-to was the valuable thing. And it's not that anymore. We have all of the information, we answer, especially at the starting point. What's missing right now is real connection, real clarity, real transparency and honesty and authenticity, and also having something different to say, having a bold message. What is it that is some person's special point of view, or the thing that other people won't say, but you say it, you have something to say. So I find helping my clients to stand out and express their message in their own real, clarified, simplified, authentic way is the thing that I can do. So that's the gist of it. That is what I really do. What does it look like when it comes to, working with target market and product and niche market and that sort of thing? I help two groups of people. One are people who are fractional executives. They are high-level consultants, maybe coaches, and that group of people. These are the people that they mainly rely on networking and building connections for business development. So I help them with attracting the right kind of people, making better connections, and eventually converting those people to customers. So I call it attract, connect, convert. The goal is I want them to be unignorable, memorable, and referable. That's my definition of helping them stand out, talk to the right people, and get them into their world. The second group that I help is basically similar things, and it's about the challenges of businesses that they all sound the same and they all look the same. Mm-hmm. And when you go to their website, regardless of the thing, so helping them with their messaging with the same thing to attract the right people, make the right connections, and convert. So it applies over there, but over there it's called messaging service. It's called growth writing. Over here it's called business development coaching. At the essence, they are both the same thing. Does that make sense, by the way?
It does. No, definitely. And, you and I both are similar in what we do for our clients. Yours is much more on the outside, where mine is specifically more in the email marketing. And that's literally where I've niched down to, because that is my specialty. It's what I do best. People say, can you write a sales page for me? Can you help with my website? And I'm like, I could, but I ain't going to do it because I don't want to. I got other people for that. Email campaigns are my specialty. But you said something that I think I would love to kind of go down this rabbit hole a little bit, because it is a dilemma, and especially with AI going on right now. You said authentic, and so many people have a hard time with that. I always joke about the fact that if you're trying to be authentic, you're probably doing it wrong.
Yes,
because so many people, and I'm sure you run into this, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. So many people, would they try to be authentic, but when they're trying, they're actually overdoing it, and it doesn't sound authentic at all. It sounds very manufactured, because they're doing what they were told, especially in the, those of us, you and I especially, are in the marketing world. We know all the trick words and the phrases and the NLP and all that stuff. And they start learning some of this stuff. They're like, oh, I have to put this stuff in. I'm like, no, you don't. What you have to do is, if you want to be authentic, is just be authentic. Don't think about all that other stuff. Just be you. So what are
Yes.
your thoughts when it comes to that side of things?
Well, generally, I agree what you said. That sentence that you said, if you're trying to be authentic, you're doing it wrong. You can replace that authentic blank. Whatever we're trying to do, we're probably doing it wrong.
Right.
I agree with that. And here's the thing: you mentioned the tricks and the NLPs and keywords and that sort of thing. Those are on the let's call let's just talk about writing. You want to both deal with text. So when I'm trying to apply those things, not that they're bad, but they have their own timing. Basically, before all of this stuff, which is about how to say it, how to write it, it's the first step, which is what to say, what is your message, and that kind of. So that's usually what the missing part, because most messages, most comments, most posts out there are basically regurgitating the same thing. Nobody has anything new to say. They don't add their own point of view to it, for various reasons. Sometimes thinking is too hard. Sometimes they afraid to be bold, and that sort of thing. So I like to work with people as in, what is it that you bring to the table? What is your take on this? What is your unique point of view on this thing? Then we can use all of that. So this is very conceptual, but I like to make everything practical. So here's the thing: I use AI like everybody else, but it's again the timing of it. I never use AI for drafting the message, but I use AI for writing the message. So many people start with AI, which is going to take care of the drafting and the writing and all of that. The whole process is AI. That makes it, for the lack of a better word, without any soul. So let's bring humanity to that. Start with looking at the challenge, looking at another point of view, looking at something that frustrates us or something that we notice as a trend or something that's happening, bringing our own message, our own point of view, because we all have different talents. The things that I notice, somebody else doesn't notice, and the things that they notice, I'm completely oblivious to it. So drafting is still the old way. It's the person and a human kind of a thing. And we can obviously use AI and all the other tools and processes and frameworks to enhance it, to polish it, to clarify it. So that has been my approach.
No, I love it. And it is, it's great we have great tools. Like we have these tools that are as AI is taken over, but you said something, and I forget the exact word you used, was no soul. So, you were talking about the writing doesn't have any soul in it. I've done the same thing. People have come to me and said, hey, check out this cool thing I wrote. And I look at it and I'm like, okay, but you didn't write that, ChatGPT did.
Yes.
And they're like, well, what do you mean? How can you tell? How do you know why I didn't write it? And I was like, because it's got no heart.
Yes.
It's the same kind of thing. Yeah.
That's the thing that about, it's not just about writing. I encourage the listeners and viewers of this to look at around. Look at all of the products out there. Let me give you an example. When I'm driving at night, I see all of the cars coming from the other end and see a bunch of lights. I don't know what car is what, but guess what? Every time a BMW is coming, because there is that special shade of blue, I know that one is BMW. And I'm not even a car guy.
Right. That's funny.
So here's the thing. Cars like that, I call them, they exist. They have a soul. When you look at a BMW or a Mercedes-Benz from, 50 years ago, or the futuristic, you can tell that they are kind of the same family. There is an essence is carrying through. But at the same time, there are many cars out there that I look at them and what is this? I have to go near and read to see, is this a Lexus or is it a Ford?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. So having that essence of yourself in there to exist. So start looking at, I don't know, I like this mug. Look, it's a bit different. The products that they have their own essence in there, the humanity is in there, the soul is in there. We can feel it, we can pick it up. This is one of those antennas that we have. The same antenna that when somebody is dishonest with you, they're lying to you, you can pick it up.
You can feel it.
Yeah, you feel it. So I call it the antenna for greatness. We are all fascinated by greatness. There are different levels of it, but that's what gets our attention. So bring that part out of you, put it into words, and see what comes out. What's the worst thing that can happen?
Yeah, well, and I love that, because that is, like, for me as a writer, that's one of the things that's super important for me when I'm working with clients and helping them.
Yes.
Like in my coaching program, that's what I'm doing, is I'm actually coaching them on how to write more effectively, to build out their email follow-up systems. And like for me, I always tell them, like, AI is a great brainstorming idea. Like it's a great tool to brainstorm and help come up with basic ideas. So like maybe you want to do a series. Like, great example, when I started doing my 1-minute videos, I was like, okay, I have my first list of, 30 or so, which are things that I've been talking about for 30 years. So that was easy. And I'm like, okay, but I need to do more. What else should I do? So I would go to, my first attempt at it was going to ChatGPT, and I was like, okay, you're a small business, small business owner, and you're not doing very well with your follow-up. What questions do you have? You want to do better, but what questions do you have? And I let it make a list of questions. I'm like, oh, I could talk about that and that and that and that. And I ain't talking about that one, and cross that off. And now I had a list of things to go through. And then I use my words, my voice, in order to expand and talk about that. It's like you were talking about, make it, your voice, your opinions, your thoughts, your take on something. It's that same thing. And that's what I'm teaching even my clients, is to do the same thing. It's like, you could use it as a brainstorming tool. But it's your thoughts and your experience is the key.
Exactly. It's like, a microwave dish, or the one that is made with love. We can taste the difference. We can pick up the difference in the writing as well. On the topic of using AI for brainstorming and sharpening our ideas, there is also the other side of it that I really enjoy, which is basically using AI after the brainstorming and coming up with an idea and putting it together, using it as the devil's advocate. Tell me why this wouldn't work. Poke holes in my logic. Tell me what's wrong with what I'm trying to say. And AI comes back with that sort of thing, which is like a great deeper brainstorming. And it crystallizes our idea. So it both, as in, what do you think about this idea? Give me more. I synthesize it, bring it back to AI. So what am I missing? What's not there? What's not logically make sense? That kind of thing.
Okay. I like that. That's one thing I haven't done. I don't think anybody's even talked about that one with me. So I like that. That's because that is, it is one of those things. Like, a lot of times when we create something, I did this with you. Like, I launched the Sevenfold Project stuff, which I haven't even talked about on this show yet. And, I launched the videos, and I was like, hey, take a look at these, just watch one or two of them and let me know what you think. Well, we want that feedback anyway. So there's nothing wrong with asking AI, especially on writing, to, it's like, hey, what do you think of this? Did I miss something? And I love that idea, because that's something I hadn't actually thought of before. That's beautiful. Love it. Awesome. Very cool. Now, one of the things that you had actually brought up to me was this interesting way that you used to do market research for your own clients and connect with them. So let's talk about that a little bit. I'd love for you to tell that story.
Yes. Well, let me give you the example of the market research that I did for my own market, and then expand that to the work that I do for my clients. So when I chose to serve this audience, the fractionals, the high-level consultants, I could guess what their challenges are, because I have been a solopreneur coach since 2006. So there were so many things that I had to figure out, things that I didn't know that I learned, all of the mistakes that I made, which is basically my value proposition. I made all the mistakes so you don't have to. So from all of those conversations, I could guess what the challenges are, but there are always nuances when you move from this part of the market to the other part of the market. So I started to reach out to strangers who had the fractional name, fractional in their title. And speaking of fractional, Eli, just today I received the confirmation that I will be speaking at the fractional conference in October, FRAC 2025. So that
is awesome. Congratulations, my friend.
Thank you. So I mentioned that so you can see the elements that contributed to this win, and the seeds of it
Mhm.
So I started to reach out to these strangers, and the message was very simple. One, this is not a sales message. Two, I'm thinking about serving this kind of a market with this kind of people, and you fit that profile. So I want to make sure that the thing that I'm going to create is going to be the real helpful thing. Would you mind giving me some of your time? I love to hear your insights, your experiences, what
Mhm.
what works for you, and so many people responded yes to that, because who doesn't want to be helpful? Everybody wants to be helpful. So I sent, I don't know how many messages, must have been, I don't know, 100 or 150, 200 kind of a thing, but I ended up having 57 people, 80 meetings. That was over 2,900 minutes of recording
Yep.
and over 216,000 lines of transcription. Right? So beside me taking my notes, this is how we use AI. I could have used AI as in, tell me what of the challenges of the fractional market is, or give it all of these transcriptions and ask for
Mhm.
it, go through this, find the patterns, tell me what's in there. Give me a list of top 10 challenges. Now make that into top 3 challenges. And what about this? And what about that? And by the end of it, I ended up with the top 3 challenges and the top 3 answers, and so many product ideas and content ideas, and all of that was created from that. Now that you and I are talking, if I just sit down and create content and products and courses for the next year, I have my my list already there from
Nice.
all of
I love
those
it.
calls. So the same thing with my clients.
Mhm.
So many people, when I talk to them, um, they know what is it that they're doing, what is their product, but when you ask what problem does this solve, they have a hard time explaining that. Not
Mhm.
is it that they don't know, it's something that they haven't thought about it that way.
Right.
And that is this element of, so what problem does it solve? Then for whom?
Mhm.
And what are the consequences of this problem? And what are the other solutions? So we enter the whole idea of what's happening in the market, who's your target market, what's the positioning, all of it. So my approach is, I want to start with the positioning, but I have to start from end to come to that beginning. So there would be a bunch of sessions all around the meat of it, the heart of it, the strategy, the approach, because being expert, we are so involved in the tactics of it, in the that the strategy part of it, the bigger picture part of it, is kind
Right.
of oblivious. We're oblivious to that. We know about it, but it needs to be mined out of us. So that's the process that I have with my clients, which I did it for myself,
Mhm.
and I do it for them.
Yeah.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah, it did. No, and I love that because I've actually did something similar years and
Yes.
years ago. I went out and actually posted, I just posted on Facebook and said, "Hey, I am revamping what I'm doing, helping coaches out because back then, coaches were my niche.
Yes.
Now I've changed that quite a bit, but back then, that's all I worked with, speakers and coaches. So I went through and was like, "Hey, I would love it if you'd be willing to get on 15 minutes." And just a quick call. I'm not selling anything. I will
Mhm.
just don't even think about pulling out a credit card because I ain't going to take it. And I just got a couple questions for you. I would love to have a conversation to see how I can do better
Yes.
helping people in my niche.
Yes.
And I got, I don't know, 10, 15 different people like right out of the gate from one Facebook post. That was all I
There
did.
you go. Yeah. Yeah.
And I got some pretty amazing feedback with it. And it
Yes.
helped redefine what my coaching program looked like moving forward, which was awesome. And it
Yes.
helped me see where I was missing. And there was also the need that I kind of knew was there, but I was kind of avoiding it, which is the full done for you service.
Yes.
Because I really didn't want to go down that route, which now I do that with more
Mhm.
clients than I do that I not, but you learn so much by doing that. And you brought up
Yes.
something really important with that whole process, doing that same kind of process with your clients and
Yes.
asking them, okay, so what was the problem you had before we talked?
Yes.
And
Yes.
then
Yes.
what did
Exactly.
we do? What was that experience like working together? And now how do you feel? What's it feel like now? I
Yes.
mean, that's to me, that's what I use as the case study model. And use
Yes.
literally, I'll record that whole process where we get recording, so we get the case studies as testimonials we can use on our marketing. But then we also go, wait a minute, I didn't even realize that was the thing that I actually helped them with. Okay.
Yes.
You learn so much, and you learn the language that your clients are using, which, you and
Yes.
I as
And
word
as you said,
people.
you learn about yourself. My whole
Yeah.
brand is around simplify.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a simplifier. That's my title. The business is called Simplify Profits,
Yep.
and all of that. And that all came from those conversations. I didn't think of it that
Yeah.
way, but they kept talking about simplify. You came on, you simplified it. It's so simple.
Mm-hmm.
It's so clear.
Yeah.
So they told me what my brand is.
Right.
And that process that I told you, let's level it up. So when we start talking to the market and having these kind of conversations, the no sales conversations,
Mm-hmm.
now we have a list of people to follow up with.
Right.
Because by the end of the call, you say, hey, I am talking to a bunch of people. By the end of it, would you like to get my findings and updates? Would you mind if I get back to you? So when I have all of that, so you set up those secondary conversations. And some of them, they may or may not end to direct business or referral business or that sort of thing. But you end up establishing your position in the market, and you serve and serve and serve and do different things. And one thing leads to another. You're invited to, to speak or webinars, or people forward your content to each other and all of that. Because now it's from the market to the market, and you just did this facilitation and clarification of the challenges towards the solution in between.
Yep. I love it. I love it. Just for the record, for anybody who hasn't been paying attention, stop and rewind this whole section we just had, because this is one of the best things you can implement in your business like today. And I promise you, you will be amazed by the results. I can say it's because I did the very similar thing for myself, and what I got back was amazing. So trust me, it's very, very cool stuff. And if you want somebody to help you take it to that next level, definitely talk to Dr. K and he'll take care of you. So this has been cool. Is there anything else? We covered a lot of stuff real quick. I cannot believe how fast this went by.
Yes.
I get a lot of people, everybody else on the other end is always like, oh my gosh, that was so fast. Rarely do I have that because I'm so used to these, but obviously you did an even better job, because I'm looking up at the clock going, oh, wow, we're a half an hour in. Awesome.
Yes.
So anything else you would like to just rattle off real quick to like last thought,
real quick
action steps or something?
Yeah, exactly. You and I are on the same page. Action steps. So you just invited people to go rewind it and listen to it. And so here's what you want to happen by the end of that. You want to do all of this and talk to people. You want to end up with, let's say, 20 questions. 20 frequently asked questions that they come up.
Right.
And there, you talk about them. Each one of them, you can talk about it, why this happens, and how to address it, and what's the opposite of it. So each one of them can become 2 or 3 different parts of content, but you have 20. But here's the thing. As an expert, when people ask those questions, those frequently asked questions, that's not really the question they should be asking. They are asking because they are step 1. But there is a step 2 and 3. So there are questions that they should be asking. Yep. So for each one of those 20, come up with at least one more. You ask that question, but this is the question that you should have been asking. So FAQ and SAQ should have asked questions. So there,
man after my own heart, I totally get it.
Yes. Now you have 40 different ways to talk to your market and establish your authority. That's what I mean by attract, connect, and convert to be unignorable, memorable, and referable.
I love it. Awesome. Awesome. I just want to call out somebody real quick as we're doing this. Any of my clients, I remember all the stuff that I keep telling you guys. I hope that you were paying attention. That way you heard it from somebody else, so you'll actually do it.
I love that trick. I'm going to use it.
I love it. Yes. That whole that whole joking thing between coaches, if all else fails, do what your coach said, because it's very, very similar. Some of the same stuff that I am actually teaching my clients. I love it. And it is great to have this from a different perspective as well. So I'm really glad that you came in here and shared all this stuff today. We're wrapping up here. So we got 2 final questions. The last one's the easy one, is how do people get a hold of you? But before that, this is the Meet Cool People show. And one question I ask every one of my guests is, what do the words meet cool people mean to you?
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Well, one is I too really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you for inviting me. As you said, time just flew. The easiest way to find me is on LinkedIn. My look for my name. The indicator is Dr. Kayvon K. So DrKayvonK. And that's the same thing everywhere on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, DrKayvonK, Dr. Kayvon K. And I think I sent you a link to a free email course that I had for people that is about this whole process that we're talking about, how to attract and connect and convert. Mm-hmm. If you like, you can share that with the audience in the description or the message.
We'll put that in the show notes.
Yes, thank you. So LinkedIn is the easiest way, the one that I check the most. Cool people. You know, Eli, it's the same thing that we have been talking about. People who they have something to say. I don't want to hear the same old message. I don't want to hear the same old regurgitation of the same old points. I like to talk to people who look at something from a different angle. They point something out that is unusual, maybe even controversial. They have something to say, and it's different from everything else. Because at the end of the day, different is better than better. So cool people to me are the people who look at what's in front of them, look at from their own vantage point, and teach me something, tell me something. When I say me, I'm talking about all of us, the whole market, about their approach to that. How can that be helpful and useful? I like cool people are to me the people that by being themselves and expressing that in a well-crafted way, they stand out. Those are the people that I like to be around.
I love it. Awesome. Yes. Well, thank you so much, my friend. It has been awesome having you on the show. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I really enjoyed this conversation.
Awesome. All right. And everybody, get out there, connect with Dr. K, get connected on LinkedIn, go get his freebie. All that stuff will be in the show notes for you. And as always, like I say on every show, if there's anything I can do to help you out, reach out, let me know. Take care.
And that wraps up another Meet Cool People show. Now, if you like what you heard, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, or review so I can help introduce these amazing cool people to even more amazing cool people. And just remember, meeting cool people is just the beginning. You need to have a system in place to follow up with the amazing people that you meet. This is exactly what we do for our clients. If you'd like to see if my team and I can help you, go to followuprockstar.com and check out the case study video to see exactly how we're helping our clients turn casual connections into cash clients for life. Again, go to followuprockstar.com and we'll see how we can work together to turn you into a follow-up rockstar.